A man born in 1988 has roughly half the testosterone of a man born in 1950. Let that number settle in. By the end of this, you'll understand the specific, invisible forces driving this collapse, and they have very little to do with the reasons you've heard before. This is a silent chemical and environmental rewriting of male biology. And the world you woke up in this morning is the primary cause. The data is unsettlingly clear. It began with the Massachusetts Male Aging Study, a landmark project that tracked men over many years. When researchers compared men of the same age but from different eras, the pattern was stark. A 65-year-old in 1989 had significantly higher testosterone than a 65-year-old in 2004. The decline was roughly 1% per year, every single year. A slow, steady drain across the entire population. This has been confirmed again and again by studies across the world, from the US to Scandinavia. This is a global phenomenon. Imagine two men both 35 years old. One is your grandfather in his prime. The other is you. Biologically, you are starting the race several paces behind. His average level might have been around 800 nanograms per deciliter. Yours is more likely to be hovering around 400, a number that doctors just a few decades ago would have considered alarmingly low, worthy of investigation. Today, it's just the new normal. The reference ranges have been adjusted downwards to reflect our diminished state. We've lowered the bar so everyone can clear it. The obvious suspects are obesity and a sedentary lifestyle. And they are absolutely part of the story. Higher body fat increases an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. Less physical activity means less demand for the hormone in the first place, but that only explains a fraction of the drop. Even lean active men are showing the same downward trend. Something else is at play, something that permeates our food, our water, and the very air we breathe. Our world is saturated with chemicals that scramble the body's hormonal signaling. They're called endocrine-disrupting chemicals, or EDCs. Think of your endocrine system as a complex postal service, delivering precise chemical messages to specific receptors. EDCs are like junk mail that perfectly mimics the shape of a real letter. They fit in the mailbox, blocking the real message from ever being received. Some of the most common are phthalates, used to make plastic soft and flexible. They are in food packaging, vinyl flooring, and personal care products like shampoo and soap. Another is bisphenol A, or BPA, used to harden plastics. It's in the lining of food cans and on most thermal paper receipts. You touch a receipt, and it's absorbed through your skin. These chemicals work in two insidious ways. Some are estrogenic, meaning they mimic the female hormone estrogen. Others are antiandrogenic, meaning they actively block testosterone from binding to its receptors. The result is the same. Your body's hormonal conversation is drowned out by static. A common objection is that the exposure levels are minuscule, measured in parts per billion. Critics argue such tiny amounts are harmless. This misunderstands how the endocrine system works. Hormones are all about tiny amounts. The system is designed to respond to subtle whispers, a few molecules triggering a cascade of biological changes. These EDCs are shouting in a library. The body is exquisitely sensitive to these signals, especially during development, but the constant exposure throughout adult life acts as a steady grinding brake on the entire system. And while we've been focused on these chemical ghosts, we've overlooked a far more immediate disruptor we invite into our bedrooms every single night. Your body has an ancient clock, a circadian rhythm tuned over millennia by the rising and setting of the sun. For 99% of human history, darkness meant sleep, recovery, and production. Today, darkness is optional. We are bathed in artificial light from screens, phones, and cityscapes long after the sun has set. This is a profound biological betrayal. When light, particularly blue light from electronic devices, hits your retina, it sends a powerful signal to your brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That signal says, it's daytime. Stay alert, suppressing melatonin. Melatonin is often called the sleep hormone, but its role is far deeper. It is a master regulator of the endocrine system. For men, melatonin signaling is a key part of the nightly cascade that tells the gonads to ramp up testosterone production, which peaks in the early morning hours. By scrolling on your phone in bed, you are sending a direct command to your brain to halt this process. You are creating a state of perpetual, low-grade jet lag. You're telling your body it's noon in Tokyo when it's midnight in New York. One study from the University of Chicago took a group of healthy young men and restricted their sleep to 5 hours per night for just 1 week. Their daytime testosterone levels plummeted by 10 to 15%. That is the equivalent of aging 10 to 15 years in 1 week. You can have a perfect diet and a disciplined workout routine, but if you disrupt your sleep with light, you are pouring water into a leaky bucket. It's an act of hormonal self-sabotage, repeated nightly. But even if you fix the chemicals and master your sleep, there is another layer to this problem. It's a deficit that is psychological but creates a deeply physical consequence. A missing signal in the modern male experience. Your brain and your hormonal system are in a constant feedback loop. The brain's hypothalamus is the command center. It sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then sends a signal to the testes to produce testosterone. This is the HPG axis. But this system is driven by demand. The command center doesn't place orders for materials the factory isn't using. So what creates the demand signal? Historically, it was physical struggle, the acute stress of a hunt, the intense effort of building shelter, the reality of physical confrontation. In the modern world, it's simulated by heavy compound lifts in the gym, high-intensity sprints, and the psychological stress of direct competition. These activities tell the brain, we need the tools for strength, for risk-taking, for aggression. Increase production. Now consider the texture of modern professional life for many men. It involves sitting in an ergonomic chair, managing abstract information on a screen, and communicating through email. The stakes are financial or social, but rarely physical. The body, being a ruthlessly efficient accountant, looks at this environment and concludes that high levels of testosterone are an unnecessary metabolic expense. The factory is capable, but the foreman has been furloughed. We have systematically engineered physical challenge and meaningful high-stakes competition out of our daily lives. We've replaced the savannah with the sterile comfort of the open-plan office. The body is simply adapting to the serene, low-demand environment we have built for it. We are living in a comfortable cage, and our biology is downgrading to match the placid reality of its confinement. This creates a slow, attritional decline. But what researchers have found about reversing this process points to a powerful mechanism that works in the opposite direction. It's a mental event that triggers a powerful hormonal cascade. It's called the winner effect. When an animal competes and wins, its testosterone levels rise. This hormonal surge increases its confidence and aggression, making it more likely to win the next competition. This creates a positive feedback loop. Winning begets more winning. This is a well-documented phenomenon across the animal kingdom, from fish to primates, and it works exactly the same way in humans. Studies on athletes show that T levels rise in anticipation of a match and surge in the winner afterward. Even chess players experience a testosterone spike after a victory. The brain doesn't distinguish between a physical victory and a strategic one. It recognizes the state of winning, of overcoming a challenge, and asserting dominance. And it rewards that state by increasing the very hormone that facilitates it. This exposes the core of the modern problem. Our environment is starved of clear, unambiguous wins. We experience vague progress on long-term projects. We get likes on social media, but the visceral, black and white experience of "I fought and I won" is becoming rare. Without these periodic signals of victory, the positive feedback loop never gets a chance to start. The system idles. The solution, then, is to consciously re-engineer these signals back into your life. Set up small, winnable games. Compete against your own previous records in the gym. Break a project down into difficult but achievable one-day deadlines, and then meet them. Negotiate a small discount on a purchase. These are not just psychological tricks to boost your mood. Each small, conquered challenge is a biological event. It's a signal sent directly to the hypothalamus. It's an order placed with the factory. You are telling your body that you are in an environment that requires the hormonal tools of a winner. The testosterone crisis is a disease of modernity. It's a profound mismatch between our ancient biological hardware and the novel environment we inhabit. The system is working perfectly. It's just responding truthfully to the signals it receives. It's responding to a world saturated with hormonal static. It's responding to a world of perpetual artificial daylight. It's responding to a world largely scrubbed of physical challenge, clear competition, and the exhilarating neurochemistry of a hard-earned victory. Your biology isn't broken, it's adapting. It's adapting to a world of comfort, safety, and low stakes. Your grandfather lived in a world that made different demands, and his biology rose to meet them. His environment automatically sent the signals for which we now have to consciously fight. The question is no longer about identifying the problem. It's about deciding which signals you are going to send today. You can accept the comfortable, muted signals of the modern world, or you can begin deliberately to send your own.